Good days to everybody. Welcome back to Cryptopapa, where crypto is hard, but Papa makes it easy. My name is Conan. Once again, thank you very much for clicking in for another video. This is where we share to you across the YouTube's video. We talks about anything that relates to crypto regarding fundamentally and technical analysis. And before we jump into the market, please help us to like, share and subscribe. And this is not a financial advice, so please do your own due diligence and your risk management. And without further ado, let's get straight into the market. So Bitcoin has managed to climb all the way up to the all-time high at 124 and 500 something, which has been exceeding the previous all-time high, forming the second double top, and has been already dropping sharply due to the recent CPI announcement. And as our prediction from our previous video, we had told you that it will be going down to the point of control area, which is at the strong support zone at 117. If we switch it back to the liquidation heat map, it has climbed to the downside to grab all the long position, all the liquidity downside, and it might be still going to further downside a bit to 117,000, which we could potentially see another bearish situation in this case. If we change it back to Bitcoin, this is the first POC area at 117 and 900,000. For the next prediction of the Bitcoin, we need to see whether the Bitcoin candlestick can it be holding firmly above this trend line. Otherwise we could see another dip to the downside about this area before we see another bouncing to the upside. Okay, so if we put it using the Fibonacci retracement, just literally finding all the resistance and support line using the Fibonacci. Using this chart, you can find all the threshold that it needs to break out in order to stay across the channel on the next coming day or on the next couple of hours, whether it can be holding above 100% of the Fibonacci area, whether it can move to the upside. Alright, Bitcoin dominance of 1-day chart, Adam and Eve structure, and a failed retest has brought the candlestick further to the downside. Using the 1-to-1 ratio of the bearish target, we can potentially measure from this area to the downside. Since the breaking of the neckline over here, we can find that the next support, it is still on our same target, which is at the 57.49% of the dominance percentage. When the candlestick are going to the downside for the Bitcoin dominance, it signifies that the altcoins will be doing in a more stable condition, and it could even pumps up a lot of the crypto, and this should be doing good. But we still need to see whether it can break down each of the layer where you see this is a support and a resistance zone. It needs to break down, and we can see another dipping all the way to the 57.5%. Okay, so if we change it back to the smaller time frame chart, you see using the Fibonacci, of course we need to always be usable with all the tools provided on the site. Just like the Fibonacci, this is such a great tool for you to use it to measure where is the next prediction, where is the next candlestick moving. So currently it stays at it just broken out the 78.6%. So for the current Fibonacci, it stays at between 100 to 78.6%. It needs to ranging. It might be ranging on this channel before we see another upside or the downside breakout or breakdown before we can predict for the next movement of the Bitcoin dominance. Of course, on the previous 24 hours for the wrecking liquidation chart, 24 hour, it reached 1.04 billion. This is a massive value of liquidation, with the largest single liquidation happened on OKX platform, the Ethereum USDT swap value at 6.25 million. This is crazy. And of course, for the long position, it has been liquidated for about 808.83 million. Meanwhile, we got a short position liquidated at 231.91 million. This is a jaw-dropping figure that we need to be really aware of our risk, and we don't anyhow just do a trading blindly. Of course, you need to have a proper SOP before we put in the position. This could, signifies that the market needs to pull back, and pullback is a healthy correction, especially for market when the Bitcoin has been pushing so fast to the all-time high. It needs to have a proper pullback before we see the market will start to condition themselves to even better before it gets to accumulate more power in order to challenge the all-time high again. So let's jump into the market of the altcoin. We got the Pi USDT. This is a triangle. This is still currently on our structure and it's still ranging. Of course, we need to wait for Pi to, really breaks down, and before we see another round of the massive bull run again on the Pi USDT. Of course, on the fundamental side, the Pi network reveals 80 billion of supply plan, which could be trigger a scarcity when the demand, starts to grow. It could signify that more potential has been putting in the market and more pressure has been putting in the market. And as for Pi in technical side, it could eventually push the price value action again, which on the market, on the chart, we can see this is an accumulation where it needs to accumulate more in order to push the pricing to the upside again. Of course, currently it stays at 0.73 as long as it doesn't drop below this particular triangle. We could see another ranging before it corrects a volume to pushing the price to the upside. If we jump back to the fundamental side, why scarcity matters? It's actually limiting the amount of Pi that enters circulation, which could mean that they control the amount of Pi. They don't let it just one push, all the Pi enters into the market. They mix it batch by batch. They limit the amount, which could be, creating a lot of opportunities for new users, and also it could stabilize the prices to further growing the ecosystem. The Pi core team, the PCT, they also stress that the ecosystem legitimacy through KYB for the partner companies. They are aiming to strengthen trust and enable secure integration as the network evolves. So by combining scarcity and also gradually with the control supply release, the Pi network supply strategy help in avoid pitfalls faced by older cryptocurrency, because they are trying to change the way they are replacing the previous traditional cryptocurrency market structure. They want the Pi to be even stable and to grow stage by stage in order to make sure that in the future the price value stays strong, and also this could be adopting into our daily utilization to even better. Who knows, it may surpass, just like Bitcoin. 10 years ago, nobody cares about it. Nowadays, it is one of the biggest crypto on the market and the only asset that people are holding so strong. So just like Pi, it needs a little bit of time in order to, stabilize, or in order to make sure that the value will be growing even stronger. So let's keep moving forward with the Pi network. And of course, for the current technical side, we see how is the Pi's movement doing for the next couple of hours. So we don't enter any trade for now because the market is still in a volatile state. It needs to really recover back. So for Pi, we wait until a valid breakthrough through the 0.4. And when it's then a valid on top of this entry, only then you place in your position. And we mark our first TP at 0.43, while the second one at 0.45. So we got another signals for you on today's video, which is the Hi-Fi USDT. This is a descending triangle. Using the 1-to-1 measurement, we got the final TP at 0.11. You can refer all these TP through this chart. So we wait for the Hi-Fi to really entering into the entry zone before you jump into the position. So on the recent market, which is still not in a very good condition, you really need to measure your risk. And of course, when you are entering the market, remember to always pushing your stop loss to the upside in order to secure your profit and your capital. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you like it. And of course, please do us a quick favor. Help us to like, share, and subscribe to more of your friends and family to support the community. And I hope you get rich, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.
Where crypto is hard, but Papa makes it easy.